Hey everyone, it's Tyler with Overland Adventures Off-Road. Today we're going to be looking at a 99 to 04 WJ Grand Cherokee. The reverse lights tend to go out. Today we're going to be specifically looking at the 4.5 or the 5.45 RFE transmission. If you have the 4.2 RFE transmission, there's a slight difference. You actually have a reverse switch that is like a $10–15 part. However, the 5.45 RFE transmission does not have that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the bulbs, make sure the bulbs are okay. Then we're going to look at the actual bulb housing. And then the third thing we're going to do is check the harness on the transmission. And if all three of those don't fix it, it could possibly be the fuse. But typically when it's the fuse, your brake lights also don't work in the rear end. So the first thing we're going to do is put wheel chocks on the front and back of the rear tire. This way we can check the reverse light without having an extra person. With your emergency brake engaged, go ahead, turn the vehicle to the accessories, put your foot on the brake, and put it into reverse. Now you have the e-brake on and the wheels are chalked, so it shouldn't go anywhere. And we're going to check, and sure enough, neither of my reverse lights are working right now. So the Phillips screwdriver, you're going to remove the upper and the lower screws, and it's the same exact process for both sides. And then you're going to grab the housing, slightly turn it out, and pull it, and it will pop right out of that socket. And this is the socket I'm referring to. This little ball goes right into that socket right here. So the bottom bulb is the reverse light. My tail lights and turn signals work, so this is strictly a reverse light issue. So all I'm going to do is turn this counterclockwise about 45 degrees. And then you're going to just wiggle it out and it will pop out. Now these little connectors touch it against these pins, and sometimes these pins get pushed down too far. So to get them to pry back up, you take either a flathead screwdriver or a knife, get underneath them and pry them up. Now I've already done this, so I know this isn't the issue. The other thing is checking the bulb. I just put new LEDs on and made sure the continuity is correct because these have worked before. So I don't have an issue with the bulb or the sockets, but this is the first thing you're going to want to check. So after you pry up those pins on both the taillight housings, you're going to go back, turn your vehicle onto the accessories, put it into reverse and see if your lights work. If they do, great, you fixed it. If not, the next thing we're going to do is check the connectors on the actual housing. All you do is slide this red tab out, press down on this middle black piece, and kind of wiggle it off. Now it takes a lot of effort. Okay, we got the taillights out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to spray both the taillight end of the connector and the harness end with a cleaner. This is a quick drying WD-40 contact cleaner. It cleans sensitive electronic parts and leaves no residue. All you do is shake it up and then spray it, then let it sit for 30 seconds or so, and then we're going to apply dielectric grease to the harness. I'm just going to show you how you spray it. You just take it, and it's got, this one has the nice hose extension, and just spray right in there. Let it dry. Do this on both sides. Now that the connector has dried, I'm going to take my dielectric grease and pour just a bunch in there. It's okay to overfill it, not a big issue. And what the grease does is it fills in any gaps, so that way water can't get in, corrode the system. And it should help to protect the continuity between the connector and the taillight housing. This is something you want to do, especially when you take your vehicle off-roading. You're going to want to put this pretty much on every sensor, spark plugs, ignition coils, you name it. You're going to want to put dielectric grease, and you can get this at your local auto parts store. Now we're going to reconnect the harness. And again, that just snaps right back in. You push the red tab back over, and that's good. It might be a little bit stiffer now that you have that grease in there, but now we're ready to reassemble. Again, that socket fits right into that joint in the back. Kind of push it in. And then you simply line up the top screw and the bottom screw and get those snug, and then we'll check the reverse lights again. We're going to check the reverse lights. So again, put it onto accessories, pop it into reverse, and check. And in this case, still neither of my reverse lights work. Now, if you had at one point only one reverse light working, maybe you do have a bad bulb or one of those connectors was bad, But in this case, still both of them are not working, so we're going to go check the final thing. So now we're going to check the transmission harness. Again, this is for the 4.5 or 5.45 RFE transmission. So you're going to come under, I'm on a creeper on the driver's side. You're going to crawl under your vehicle, and you'll see where your front drive shaft is. Right above that, on the transmission, you'll see a harness right there with a gray clip. And I don't know how many wires are in this harness. There's probably like 20 or so, maybe 15. All we're going to do is take that clip right here. You actually push it down, and then you pull the whole connector off. So I'll see if I can do this one-handed. So it sounds almost like it breaks. It pulls down, and then you wiggle the harness off, and now the harness is off. So I can see, I clean these out, and I can see there's already dirt in there, and I put dielectric grease. So that means on the actual transmission side, there's dirt and debris in there. As you can see right there, there's some on my finger. So that's probably what's causing the issue. So I'm going to go ahead and re-clean these. Now, I'm not going to be able to record it because there's limited space between the tub and where that harness is. But you're going to want to spray it out, clean it, get all that dirt and debris up there, and then reconnect the harness and see if that fixes the issue. Before, I could just wiggle this harness and get the reverse lights to work, but it would only work for a little bit. So it's something with this either harness or this connector that is causing the issue for me. So I cleaned out that connector, guys, and then I reinstalled it. So when you're reinstalling it, again, that gray part is going to be actually down. Get the harness on, and then push the gray piece back up, and that'll lock it in place. I wiggled it after putting the grease in, and I was able to get the reverse lights to work, as you can see. So that's good. Now I've had this issue for a little bit now. It's intermittent. Sometimes it won't happen for a while, and then other times it'll happen every couple days. I've had to go under there and wiggle that harness. So if you have this issue, check all those items that I told you to. If you still have it, try leaving it in reverse, again, not running, and just wiggle that harness back and forth until you see the lights come back on, which is what I normally do. If I can't get it to work by using a needle nose pliers on all the pins to make sure they're pulled up all the way, then I'm probably just going to use duct tape and tape it to whatever side it needs to, because it's the actual connector, it's not just the harness, the connector. If I wiggle the whole connector, that's when it works. So hopefully I can just rig something up where it works. So if still all of that doesn't fix your issue, more than likely it's your transmission solenoid pack, which you can get on Amazon for $201. It's a lot of work. Obviously you have to drop the pan and everything. Hopefully what I've just showed you works. If not, you might have to do this, and at that point you have to value the vehicle and its worth compared to the cost of having someone do this for you. So I'm on a WJ forum, and someone said, I replaced the solenoid pack in the trans and also the filters. Not only did the reverse lights come back, but it shifts more firm and consistent. Took about 4 hours and about $220 for all the parts.